Good afternoon. Welcome to our SCALE webinar. I am Bruce Arnson, the Executive Director of the MIT Supply Chain Management Master's Degree Program. Every January, we bring together the students not only from our center here at MIT, but also their peers from our centers in Malaysia, Zaragoza, Spain, and our students from all over Latin America. So right now we have gathered in the room two students from each of our programs. The purpose of this webinar is to allow students, prospective students, students who are thinking about going back to graduate school and studying supply chain, to have a chance to hear firsthand from our current students who are in our programs in different parts of the world. So the way we'll begin here is we'll have the students introduce themselves. We'll then have them talk about what classes they're taking and how they're handling the heavy workload. These are questions that prospective students are always pretty nervous about. How do you survive at MIT and our affiliated centers? What was some of the most surprising things about when you got here, and what did you find out? Were you able to explore the location you're at, go sightseeing a little bit? What kind of preparation would you suggest that the incoming students be thinking about before they show up? Our current students are always thinking about what preparation they should have done before they came here, so they can tell you about that. And then we'll talk about what's next for the students. Are they taking a job? Are they going on to more school? Are they going back to a family business? Just what are they going to do? So we'll start off by going around the room and asking each of the students to very quickly introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm David Hidalgo. I'm from Colombia, and I'm related to GCLOG program. Should I keep going? Okay. My undergrad was related to aeronautical engineering, and my master is on industrial engineering, and well, I have another specialization in aircraft maintenance, and I was working in a research company, and so now I work also on universities teaching as well on logistics.
Hi, my name is Alejandra. I'm from Mexico. I'm also from the GCLOG program. My undergrad is on industrial engineering, and I am working in a consulting firm of supply chain and logistics.
Hello, I'm Agnes Maina from Kenya. I'm in the MISI program, that's MISI in Malaysia. And for my undergrad, I undertook actuarial science back in Kenya. And previously to joining the program, I worked in the insurance industry, investment banking, and investment management. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Drupad Bausar from the ZLOG program in Zaragoza, Spain. And my undergrad was in mechanical engineering and industrial engineering. And prior to joining this course, I have worked in the automobile industry and in the food industry.
Hi, my name is Lina Romero. I am from Colombia. I belong to the ZLOG program. My undergrad is in industrial engineer from one school in Colombia, and the second one is from other school in France. Previous to coming to the ZLOG program, I was working in an oil field service company in the sourcing department.
Hello everybody, I'm Vivek Subramanian and I'm from India. So I'm part of the Malaysia Institute for Supply Chain Innovation, MISI program, and I've done my mechanical engineering, after which I worked in the power industry in India, and my role was in procurement.
Hi, my name is Mike Tully. I'm from the U.S. I'm currently in the MIT SCM program here in Cambridge. I did my undergraduate degree in management and systems engineering at the United States Military Academy, after which I spent about 8 years in the Army as an aviation officer and pilot, then did 3 years in the medical device industry in operations and purchasing after that.
Hello, my name is Veronica Stoliar. I was born and raised in Venezuela, but I've been in the U.S. for a while. I'm in the SCM program here at MIT. I did my undergrad in industrial and systems engineering in the University of Florida, so I'm a Gator. And previously to joining MIT, I worked in ExxonMobil in Houston. I was working in procurement, and I was doing sourcing and acquisition of technologies globally for the corporation.
Thanks. Veronica, why don't you start us off and say a few words about how many classes you took and how you were able to handle the workload.
So in August, when we started, we took 2 classes, and then in fall, I took 4 classes. 3 were required, and then I took an elective as well. Initially, it took me some time to get used to the workload, but the way I managed is I did as good as possible, or I organized myself as good as possible. So I think that's what helped me get through it. I think taking good notes helped me, and then after some weeks, I got used to studying again. So it was good.
Mike?
I would say that my story is similar to Veronica's with the 2 classes during orientation, and then the same number, well, actually 3 or 4 during the first semester itself. There is a little bit of a steep learning curve, especially for someone who had been out of an academic environment for as long as myself. I had been out of it for about 10 years. So coming into a top-tier academic environment where they're throwing a lot at you, you have to figure out how to study again, figure out how to do your time management, but it comes back to you, prioritize, and after a couple of weeks you find a good rhythm, and the classmates here and the faculty here have really been outstanding. Your classmates will help you get you through just about anything you encounter.
So yeah, in Malaysia we had an initial foundation session where we were exposed to probability and statistics, and also a mini MBA course. They just introduced us to all the aspects of what an MBA should entail. After which we started our core courses. We had about 3 of them, and we had 3 electives. So how intense was the workload? Well, I would say we had to spend some nights staying up till 5 a.m. to finish the assignments. But that is to be expected in a short, intensive course such as this. And you are supposed to do your best. It's a really fun experience, and your classmates will definitely help you out.
This is Lina speaking from the CLC program. I will say that at the beginning it was very difficult because you are not used anymore to study. So I will say the most important skill that you are able to learn during the program is time management, because you are able to manage a lot of tasks at the same time and to prioritize what is most important. And also what it was most surprising to me is the collaboration from our teammates, because we all came from different countries and we have different skills. So during all the courses we have a lot of teamwork and we collaborate a lot with all the teammates.
Hi, this is Rupert from the ZLC program, and to add to some of the points that the other colleagues have mentioned, I think I also found it very difficult because, like Mike, I came back to academia after like close to about 10 years. So initially it was quite overwhelming, and we did like total 5 courses in the first term. So, and a lot of assignments and stuff being thrown at you. So, but prioritization, I think, and being organized. And after a couple of weeks, things just settled down, and our professors were super amazing. Apart from very, very collaborative classmates, anytime you get stuck with something and they're reachable and they are ready to help you out. And we had group assignments which worked out really very well. So yeah, I would say bottom line is being organized, being focused, and having your priorities clear. I think that sails through.
Hi everyone, this is Agnes from MISI. So for me, initially trying to get used to the Malaysian heat, and then you have lots of assignments being thrown at you. You have lots of lectures to attend. Initially it was hard to cope. But with time, as everyone else has said, the classmates are very helpful, and so is the faculty. The faculty members are very, very amazing, and they're willing to help you. Anytime you don't understand any concept, they're willing to take you through it so that you can be able to understand and be able to do the assignment and be able to apply it once you go out there. So really, it's been teamwork, which I truly appreciate. And as everyone else has mentioned, we've learned to deal with time management and prioritization.
Hi, Alejandra from the GSLOG. Well, the first 3 weeks in the GSLOG, they are really intense because you want to take the most out of it, and you, as they say, prioritization and time management, but it's hard work, and you're here, so you have to make the most of it.
Yeah, just David from GCLog complementing what Alejandro says. Just one thing, GCLog is crazy. You know, you have like 100 classes within 3 weeks, and you have barely time to sleep, barely time to go out, but it's worth it because it's a really, really tough program, and it really makes sense to make it.
Okay, well, thanks very much. What I want to ask next is, what is the setting like? I think some of you have already mentioned this. And I'm going to ask one student from each program to answer this, and then we'll alternate because we don't have time for everybody to answer every question. So, David, why don't you start us off and tell us what's the environment like in your experience with GCLog?
Okay, so the GCLog is here based in Boston. The environment is awesome. You can, as all had said before, have on hand a lot of great teachers, great professors. The MIT itself, the campus is amazing. So you have a lot of things to do. And also we have had the chance to explore Boston and Cambridge. So yeah, it's definitely a life-changing experience if you have never experienced something like this before.
Agnes?
For the MISI, in Malaysia, as I mentioned earlier, the heat was initially too much for me, and I also had to adjust to the timing difference. But having landed on a Sunday afternoon and you have to be in class on Monday, you just have to keep up and do the work. But it's been amazing. Unfortunately, we've not had much of a chance to explore the location, given the workload that we are dealing with. But we are hoping to do so in the coming semester. But that should not deter anyone from joining the program.
Yeah.
So I will say the most surprising aspect was the size of the program, actually, because you are able to build strong relationships with people from all around the world. That's the thing that I most appreciate from the program. And yes, actually, during the first week, we were able to go to the Pyrenees. So it was amazing because it's like an amazing place. You have like great view, and the Spanish culture is amazing. They have great food. So yeah, it's worth it.
This is Mike from the SCM program here in Cambridge. I'm originally from the New York area here in the U.S., so coming to Boston was a little bit of a change for me. We have kind of a sports rivalry going, but I really fell in love with the area. Great people. It's an incredible environment. Great sports teams, cultural scene, great museums. There are literally dozens and dozens of colleges and universities in the area, so it's a very vibrant place to be, to live. And just on the MIT campus itself, you'll have access to great lecturers, people at the Sloan Business School. The founder of Zipcar was here recently talking. Then you'll have presidents from various countries that come by and do talks as well. So there's always something going on. It's a very vibrant place to be. Very exciting.
Okay, thanks, Mike. What I think we'll do now is just pause for a moment and take some of the questions that folks have written in to us. I'll see if I can read the question and answer it. Is there a maximum age limit or number of years of experience? And what about for professionals with more than 10 years of work experience? So all of our programs are really designed for early career professionals, people who have worked probably anywhere from 3 to 10 years or so. If they go through the program at that point in their life, they will get a huge boost in their career, in their earning potential, in their amount of responsibilities that they're able to take on in their job. As people continue to work beyond 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Coming to these programs does not give them nearly as much of a boost in their career. We often get applicants who are in their 40s and 50s who want to come to the program. Our program is not going to be as beneficial for those kind of folks as it would be for younger people. So we tend to try to get the people who will benefit the most. If there's a limit to how many we could take, we would lean towards the person who would benefit the most from the program. Okay. Are the programs designed for any specific industry, or is it a general supply chain education? It's not designed for any specific industry. Each of our students performs a master's thesis project or a capstone project in which they are working with a company. The students, many companies come in and present their project ideas and try to convince the students to vote for them in the bidding. And so each student will work on a project with a company. But the program overall is not designed for any specific industry. Many of the supply chain problems, as you know, are shared across all industries. How much does the program entail Six Sigma or lean manufacturing? We have a lot of our incoming students are already certified in the Six Sigma and lean manufacturing. Many of the principles that we teach in our courses reinforce and amplify the things that people would learn in their Six Sigma and lean manufacturing programs. The programs themselves do not lead to any kind of a certification in Six Sigma or lean manufacturing, but they complement each other very nicely. How does the program relate to the finance industry? That's a great question. As you know, if you haven't figured this out by now, if you go into the corporate boardroom, the people there are speaking the language of finance. So it's extremely important that our supply chain leaders learn to speak the language of finance and be able to relate to the people in the boardroom. So we spend a lot of time teaching our students supply chain finance, how to interact with the finance community in their company, and how to convert impacts in customer service, impacts in fulfillment into what does it mean for the bottom line, what does it mean for profits and market share, so that they can go into the boardroom and have a conversation with those folks and get the resources they need. There's a last question here which is more appropriate for the students about thesis work. I'll ask that question in a few minutes. Right now I'd like to ask the students to just tell me what was the most surprising aspect of the program. What was different than what you had expected? We'll start with Veronica with the SCM program.
Hi. I think for me the most surprising part was the diversity in my classmates. I mean, not only we not only have classmates from different parts of the world, like Switzerland and Thailand, China. But it's also the diversity on their job experience, their educational experience. I mean, we have students that were engineers. I have a classmate that he was in a submarine for I think a total of 1 year, something like that. It's just the experiences that they bring to the classroom that I think I was really positively surprised about.
Hi, Vivek here from Missy. So the thing that surprised me was about how much more I learned from the course than I had expected to. I'd worked in procurement for almost 5 years, and I was fairly certain that I knew some portion of what procurement entailed and what supply chain was all about. But after the first 3 months of the course, I knew exponentially much more than what I did when I joined, and that was really good.
Yes, this is Rupert from the ZLOG program. Of course, diversity was one of the biggest surprising factors. Like, we had the youngest member in the class is like 21, and then the eldest one is at 48. And that the span of experience across in the entire class also was really, really wide and spread out. But the biggest surprise really was I was expecting like a big university spread across with sprawling lawns and really vibrant culture and something like that. but I was very pleasantly surprised because of the fact that our college is situated in the Plaza area, which is a logistics hub around with a lot of industries, and the Zaragoza airport is one of the cargo hubs. So we are right in the middle of the industry that we came to study and what we want to achieve and solve the challenges. So it gives us a completely different exposure as compared to a normal university.
Alejandra here from the GCLOG. Well, for me, the most surprising first was being at MIT. That's a great surprise and a great honor for me. And as well, all the new knowledge that you acquire from the best researchers in the world, what is happening with logistics and supply chain is pretty surprising and gives you a different view of the world.
Okay, let me answer a few more questions from the thousands of people that have tuned in so far. So it says, talk more about the student interaction between centers. How do the students interact? This is a great question because during the month of January, we have all the students come here to MIT. They've been working in identical programs for the first fall semester, but then in January they all come together, and the entire month is spent. They're probably going to be on about 20 different teams during the course of the month, and each team has representatives from each center. So our goal is to have each student get to know the 120 other people, so that when they go back to their job, go back to their country, they will have a network of peers and contacts all around the world that they can draw on. So they work very closely with the members of the other centers. Okay. The next question was finance options for students. I presume that means how to finance the program as opposed to taking finance courses. We have lots of finance courses. I don't think that's what this question is about. Yes, these programs are expensive. The main thing, students in the U.S. tend to, speaking as a father of my own kids who went through graduate, the first place that the students turn is to mom and dad, I'm sure. I would be living in a much bigger house if I didn't have kids that went to graduate school, right? Many countries have student loans that are available, many of our students are taking loans from banks and credit unions and government programs to come here. In other countries, there are some countries that don't have loan programs from the government. It's interesting how, for example, in China, many of our Chinese students get loans from members of their family. Their families come together and provide financing if the government doesn't. So I'm just curious, do any of you have any other innovative financing options besides robbing a bank or something to come here? Okay. So what I want to do talk about now is have the students talk a little bit about what preparation would they recommend for students who are out there listening, who may be thinking of coming to one of our programs. Let's get one person from each center to start us off. How would you suggest that they prepare?
Okay, this is David from GCLOG. Before joining, you should at least read something about logistics, because some people usually just try to get into the program and they have no clue about logistics. So probably recommendable books would be Chopra, probably the best book on this part. And also, I hope this is really nice to mention, try to read the Yossi Sheffi's book. He has a really big picture of logistics, and his books are just amazing and quite simple to understand. So this would help you to understand what are you getting into. And of course, if you can take some SCX classes, that will be interesting for you to understand at least what are you getting into in more deep detail.
This is Agnes from the MISI program. What I would recommend as part of preparation, as David has spoken about, I'd add that it would be good to improve your knowledge on probability and statistics, because we find that the course is quite analytical, which is something a few people may overlook. But if you can take some time to just go through, I believe there are very credible online platforms which you can use. I don't want to mention names lest I sound like I'm marketing, but you can use the Khan Academy. It's very good. You can use that to just brush up your probability and statistics knowledge, because at the end of it all, once you're done with this program, we'll be making decisions in an uncertain world. So it's not deterministic, whereby, you know, I need to undertake this decision and I'll get it 100%. It's a matter of chances, so we need to be really good at that. And generally, your math knowledge will come in handy when you have to deal with optimization models and network models. So that will be really good.
Hi, this is Lina from the CLOC program. So I will say the same as my previous teammates, some statistics and probability, and also some basics of calculus, mainly for those who doesn't have like an engineering background. And our program is very strong in supply chain finance, so I will say some of the basics in finance to enjoy more the course during the program.
This is Mike from the SCM program. I took a probability and statistics class over the summer before I started, and I also took a calculus class. Those were very beneficial, and I used everything that I refreshed during those summer courses in the first 2 weeks of orientation here. So you hit the ground running here very quickly. Again, I had been out of an academic environment for almost 10 years, and of course, MIT is very math-oriented. Anytime they can transition from theory into the actual calculus and the formulas and calculations behind it, they're going to do that. So you need a good working knowledge of math, and any type of online courses, whether it's Khan Academy or a course at your local community college, will definitely pay dividends when you get here.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll chime in as the director here at SCM. The two types of courses we recommend people take before they come is a course in Calculus 1, the same kind of calculus you would get as a freshman in college. Our students have been out in the working world gaining amazingly good experience in work and so forth, and at the same time they have been forgetting everything they ever learned about math. And so we suggest that take a course in Calc 1 and also take a course in probability and statistics. Those are the two things. If you do that, you'll have a wonderful time. If you haven't ever heard of probability and statistics, you will not have a wonderful time. So I got some more questions coming in from the folks out there in the field. One of the questions is about the blended program. So let me tell you what the blended program is, first of all. MIT recently announced that we are going to have a series of 5 online courses, SCX 0, SCX 1, 2, 3, 4. We've had several classes of students go through SCX 1 and 1 class through SCX 2 already. We've set up a unique program that if a student takes all 5 of those online courses and does well, they can then take a proctored exam. If they do well in the proctored exam, they can apply to MIT to join these programs. There will be probably 40 to 50 such students admitted each year from the people who took the online courses. They will only come to MIT for 1 semester as opposed to the students you've been talking to today come for a full year. We will give the students who took the MicroMasters online certificate, they will get credit for having gone through 1 semester at MIT. And the semester that they then spend, the 1 semester they do spend at MIT, will have some of the classes that you really need to have on campus that don't lend themselves to an online experience. Types of case studies and so forth, where the discussion back and forth is a key part of the learning. Also things like leadership and writing and those kinds of skills are hard to do over the internet. So the blended program will start, I think, the beginning of 2018 will be our first class coming in of students from the blended program. So our online courses have been very well received, and I hope that you should check them out. And that's a different way to get into these programs than the traditional way to do it. If you apply through having taken the MicroMasters, we no longer look at your test scores. We no longer look at GRE or GMAT scores, the scores you achieved on the online tests. We'll substitute for that. Also, we no longer look at your transcript to see what you majored in. So this is a very different way to get into this program, just by doing really, really well on the online courses and the proctored exam. Okay? Let's talk a little bit now about thesis projects. Each of the students has to do either a thesis project or a capstone project for the GC Log students. And so I wonder if you could just tell us, each of you, just one or two sentences, what's your project about and how's it going? Why don't you start us off?
Hi, Vivek here from Malaysia. So my project is about a company in the oil and gas industry, and they need to figure out how to choose their vessel requirement strategy. So do they need to buy vessels? Do they need to lease them? How will the future market conditions affect this decision-making process? So this is what my research is all about. It's very interesting because I get to learn a lot about the oil and gas industry and also about the shipping industry, something which I've not been exposed to at all. So it's a very huge backbone which supports us invisibly, I would say. So it's been an interesting run so far.
This is Lina from the CLOC program. So I am working for the largest coffee company, and the project is all supplier network optimization across the MEA region. It's very interesting because the company is growing a lot and is changing completely. Their supply chain is changing completely, so they are changing as well their strategy. So they want to leverage their power of purchasing. So we are helping them to achieve this goal.
Hi, this is Rupert, and the thesis that I'm working on is in the oil and gas industry. However, what we are trying to do is quite applicable to any industry around. We are trying to build an application for all types of transport solutions, which means any product you want to move from point A to point B in the entire world, anything and everything, right from the cost to taxation to regulations to time or to contracts if you need anything. This is the application which will give the information and probably forecast the delivery times as well.
This is Agnes from the MISI program. The thesis I'm working on is for a company in the pharmaceutical industry, which is trying to coming up with a distribution hub to serve the APAC market. So what we are trying to do is determine the inventory levels that will be required at the newly formed hub, which will be serving the APAC market. And for this, we'll need to factor in the service levels that the company needs to maintain, and we also need to factor in that the products have a residual shelf life, among other factors. And so far, it's been interesting, and in the prior semester, we used to have weekly meetings, virtual meetings with the thesis company, so as we can be able to get information and update them on how far we are. So far it's been a great journey, and I've learned a lot in not only the pharmaceutical industry, but also for the APAC market, which has been new to me.
Hi, this is Alejandra from the GCLog. Well, my thesis project is about network optimization in Mexico for a company in food and beverage industry. And what we're looking for is giving them with mathematical models the strategic points to locate their distribution centers.
So this is David from GCLog. My project is completely different from what you have heard before because it's related to universities, and it's trying to find or to determine the biggest challenges that universities are facing on supply chain programs worldwide.
And
This is Mike from the SCM program. My thesis partner is a fairly large beverage company that has very seasonal demand, and depending on promotions and other requirements from their customers, demand changes very rapidly. They also have thousands and thousands of different SKUs, so our thesis is trying to optimize their raw material inventory policy so that it effectively increases their capacity and minimizes their costs throughout their vast network of plants in North America.
Hi, this is Veronica from SCM. My thesis partner is a large coffee retailer, and I'm working on the supply chain design of their fresh food. I'm using continuous approximation, a methodology to design their network for that area.
Thank you. Let me just say another couple sentences about thesis projects. Most of our thesis projects, most of the centers have 2 students work on one project. That's not true of all the centers, but most of them you have a thesis partner. The companies come in usually at the beginning of the program in August and make a pitch about the project that they would like the students to work on, and the students then get to vote and bid on what project they want to work on. And each project has an advisor. So, for example, I'm the thesis advisor for 3 different master's projects, and the other researchers at our centers and faculty serve as advisors for their students' projects as well. What I want to do now, we have time for probably one more round of questions. The students do have a class that starts at 1 o'clock, so we're going to have to get to that class. We can't miss. January's very busy. But what I like to do is have the students talk a little bit about sort of what's next. Are they trying to get a job? Do they have a job? Have they been interviewing companies? One thing to keep in mind as we go around the table with this question is that the recruiting process, the job placement process, has different timing in different parts of the world. Here in North America, the companies come swarming in August, September, October. They're extremely busy giving presentations and trying to recruit students, and then it slows down for the rest of the year. Other parts of the world, like Europe, it starts to ramp up in January, February, March. And so the students from the different centers are at different stages in the recruiting process depending on where they are. So Veronica, why don't you just start us off again and tell us where you are with the recruiting and what you want to do next in life.
So what I want to do next in life, at least in the short term, is I really want to work or do something in the food industry. So I was really lucky I got the thesis in the food industry because that's something that I really like. I haven't done as much of the recruiting, although there has been a lot of opportunities. Due to personal reasons, I have to stay in the short term in Boston, so I'm looking something in closer to here. And I love Boston, so it's good.
Hi, Mike again from SCM. I really wanted to do consulting coming into the program, and there's actually a really good support base for that here. A lot of students in our program are interested in consulting. There's also this consulting club from Sloan that you have access to, and a lot of resources here. Allison Manning, who is the Career Development Officer for this program, does a great job with bringing in different companies that are looking for students from this program. A lot of great opportunities, but if you do want to do consulting, that starts off very early. The first application for consulting was actually due in July before this program even started. So be aware of the deadlines if that's something you're interested in. It's going to start as soon as you get on campus here. It'll really be busy in October, and then people usually start having to make decisions around the November, December timeframe if you're looking to do consulting, or for some of those other companies that start the recruiting process earlier. I'll be working in consulting in New York after this.
Hi, Vivek here again from Malaysia. So at our institute, the recruitment happens towards the end of the course. So usually by March, April, May, we have companies coming in to recruit our students. But as soon as we start the course, or we have companies coming in to give us small talks about different aspects of supply chain. So we get to interact with VPs of various companies. We get to network with them, set up meetings over the weekends, or just network generally. So using that contacts, we can probably push for an interview. Another thing that we have access to is the supply chain, the MIT's website. So you have job postings listed there, which you can also check out. So that's that.
Hi, this is Tina from CLOC program. So after graduation, I would like to go into consulting, not only to apply my previous experience, but also to apply all the knowledge from the master's. I would like to go into purchasing and supply chain management consulting firm. So as mentioned before, our program is a little bit different. So we start recruitment process in February and March. So some consulting firms as well as another enterprises are coming in February and March to start the recruitment process.
Hi, this is Rupert from the ZLOG program, and after the course, I would like to work in supply chain strategy. With my previous employers, I did a bit of consulting experience, but strategy is something that really excites me, and both the previous employers are interested to have me back. So we'll probably be discussing sometime in February or March, as Lena mentioned. But apart from that, as part of the ZLOG program, like, we've got really good placement services and good coordination. Close to about like 200 companies in the past have come, and then we always get in touch with them. And always the students who worked with work experience, we share the contacts and work with our previous employers to increase the network and help fellow students.
Hi, this is Agnes from the MESI program. In the short term, I'm looking at consulting, and as my colleagues mentioned, that for us the recruitment happens from February onwards. But also another interest, though this may be in the long term, is that I would love to lean more on the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah.
Hi, Alejandra from the GCLOG. I'd like to continue in consulting for 5 or 10 years to get more experience, and in the long term put my own consulting firm to help medium-sized companies.
So this is David. I would like to keep on doing on education, and also I want to get my PhD soon. So probably I will be joining the PhD here, hopefully. And yeah, keep on studying and being the one that gives the student hard time. Revenge time.
Okay, well, I want to thank all of our students for taking time out of their busy January schedule to speak to our prospective students. I hope this was very helpful for those of you who are considering joining one of our programs. Like I said, our students have to run off to a class now. The rest of you out there, I encourage you to visit our websites, and our admissions are underway. We have several more rounds of admissions this year. I believe February 1st is the next deadline, and there'll be a deadline after that, I believe, in April. It was our pleasure to speak with you, and hopefully we'll see some of you on campus at some time in the future. Thanks.